hand reaches for a glass of water. It is such a small motion. Fingers curl, wrist tilts. Nobody watches this moment. Nobody remembers it. It happens, and then it is gone, swallowed into the next second without a trace. But somewhere in your skull, right now, a structure the size of a seahorse is deciding whether this moment deserves to exist at all. Most people think time is something that happens to us equally. A minute at a birthday party, a minute in a waiting room. 60 seconds is 60 seconds. The clock does not care what you are doing. That is not what your brain believes. Your brain does not measure time. It manufactures it, and the material it uses is memory. Here is the strange part. In the moment itself, time spent having fun does not actually move faster. Ask someone mid-laughter how fast the last 5 minutes felt, and they will often say it felt completely ordinary. The distortion is not happening in the present. It is happening afterward in the looking back. This is where the story usually breaks apart, because we assume the feeling of "that flew by" is a measurement. It is not. It is a memory count. Every waking moment, your brain is being flooded with sensory information, more than it could ever store. So it does something ruthless. It discards almost everything. What survives is only what feels new, threatening, emotionally charged, or unexpected. Familiar experiences barely leave a mark. Novel ones get encoded in rich, dense detail. Boredom, it turns out, is not empty time. It is time your brain refused to file away. Think about a commute you've done 1,000 times. In the moment, it can feel endless. The same intersections, the same songs, the same tired thoughts circling. And yet, when you try to recall last month, that commute barely exists. It has been compressed into almost nothing. Weeks collapse into a single, blurred impression. Now think about a trip somewhere unfamiliar. Every hour is thick with unfamiliar streets, new smells, faces you've never seen. In the moment, it can feel disorienting, even overwhelming. But when you look back, that single week feels longer, richer, more expansive than the entire ordinary month before it. This is the paradox researchers have circled for decades. Novelty slows time down while you're living it and speeds it up in memory. Routine does the opposite. It speeds up the living and empties out the memory. Fun, then, is not really about pleasure. It's about density. A joyful hour crammed with novelty, laughter, and unexpected turns gets recorded in vivid, layered detail. And when the brain later tries to reconstruct how long that hour was, it does something almost accidental. It underestimates it. Because dense memory doesn't feel long while it's forming. Only sparse, empty time drags, which means the sentence, "time flies when you're having fun," is quietly hiding something unsettling. What actually flies is not time. It's your attention. Fun doesn't shrink the clock. It hides it from you. In 2014, a team of neuroscientists studying the brain's internal clock found something researchers had suspected, but never fully confirmed, that specific populations of neurons appear to track duration not by counting seconds, but by counting the number of distinct experiences that occur. More events, more perceived time in retrospect, fewer events, even across the same stretch of clock time, and the brain files it away as barely having happened at all. This means your sense of a life well lived may not come from how long you were alive. It may come from how many genuinely new moments your brain believed were worth keeping. There is a reason this matters more now than it ever has before. For most of human history, novelty was expensive. A new face, a new landscape, a new danger. These were rare enough that the brain could afford to record almost all of them in vivid detail. Time, for our ancestors, was dense by default. The world simply did not offer enough repetition to compress it. That is no longer true. Somewhere in the last 2 decades, the world learned how to manufacture the feeling of novelty without the substance of it. A feed refreshes, a new face appears, then another, each one technically new, each one gone in under 2 seconds. The brain registers motion, color, faces, and stimulation, but nothing lingers long enough to be encoded as a genuine memory. This is not the same as boredom. It is something stranger, a kind of hollow acceleration. Hours vanish, and yet almost nothing from those hours can be recalled the next morning. Not because the hours were empty, in the way a quiet afternoon is empty, but because they were full of experiences too brief and too similar to ever become memories at all. Researchers studying attention in the smartphone era have started calling this time famine, a sensation of having no time, paired with an almost total inability to say where it went. Scroll for 2 hours, and the brain, when asked to account for it later, often reconstructs something closer to 20 minutes. The clock says 2 hours passed. The mind, checking its own ledger, finds almost nothing filed under that heading, which means the very tools built to capture our attention may be quietly erasing the evidence that we ever paid it. Widen the frame further, and the pattern stops being personal. It becomes civilizational. Every generation that lived through rapid, unfamiliar change, war, migration, invention, upheaval, later remembered that period as impossibly long, dense, formative. Every generation that lived through stability, routine, and repetition remembered the same number of years as a blur, already half erased by the time it ended. A society, in other words, may experience its own history the same way a single brain experiences a single life. Not measured in years, measured in how much of it refused to repeat. And that reframes something most people never question: why childhood summers felt endless, while adult years blur past in a haze of Mondays. It is not that time itself changed pace. It is that a 5-year-old is drowning in novelty, new words, new faces, new rules of a world they are only beginning to map. Almost everything gets encoded. Almost nothing gets erased. An adult, by contrast, has already mapped most of it. The brain, efficient and unsentimental, stops bothering to record what it has already filed under known, and so the years compress, not because they were shorter, because they were repeated. There is something almost merciless in this. It means the passage of a life, as we experience it in memory, is not really measured in years. It is measured in how relentlessly we allowed ourselves to be surprised. A person who spends 40 years inside the same routine may, in the final accounting of their own mind, have lived something closer to 4, not because nothing happened, because nothing was different enough to be kept, which leaves an uncomfortable question sitting underneath all of it. If your memory is the only ledger your mind actually trusts, then how much of your life has already been quietly deleted in real time, without your permission or your knowledge? The clock never lied to you. Your memory did. And somewhere in your skull, right now, that same seahorse-shaped structure is deciding this very moment. Whatever you are doing with it, whether it was worth keeping at all,